Good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is Leaning In with Anne. It's a walk and talk I do every morning, and I'm really grateful for you all. So, those of you who have not seen me before, I'm Anne Ferguson. I am an author. I am the owner of a company called Joy Power, and I have written courses that teach all sorts of really great mindset stuff. So, joy, like what's a joyful mindset? How do you actually live in a way that joy is yours? Creation mindset. How do you take dreams? First of all, how do you allow yourself to dream? Because so many people are shut down dreaming. How do we allow ourselves to dream and allow those dreams to come true? Parenting. Yeah, the skills of our parents, they weren't great, guys. Should be parenting like your parent and it's not going well for you because you had some faulty beliefs. And we need to change that. So, mentoring at home, we're going to teach you how to be a mentor to your children because that's actually more powerful. All right, that's me. So, I'm going to talk to you about belief today and why belief it's like that hinge point of everything. We have thoughts, we have emotions, we have beliefs, we have actions, and the way that they all interplay create our reality. So, we're going to really go into belief today. We've talked about emotions before. We'll touch on that again. We've been working on thoughts this week, like declaring what we want to feel. The first thing we need to do is believe that we have control over the outcomes of our day. Now, there are other people that influence, there are other people that make choices that cause kind of a ripple effect on things for sure. However, we get to believe what that means to us. Does that mean we're stopped and we have no control and can't do anything? Or does it mean that we just get to make another choice? So I'm going to propose that as you create with God what you would love to experience today, that He has the power to bring to you the very thing that you would love to create. And we're going to create our emotions about what we want to feel, because what that does is give God the ability to help us navigate around everybody else's choices and still bring to us what we would love the most. It's a really cool practice. It's a really cool way to do this. So I would love for you to kind of, if that belief feels weird, like you don't want to adopt it as true, that's totally fine. What I encourage you to do is experiment with me. Just play. Experiment. Is it possible? Okay. This is something that has just been on my mind so heavily lately is belief. Belief is an element of our reality. So let me explain how this goes down. We've been working on thoughts. We've been working on declarations, right? So we can state something and not believe it. We can state it and state it and state it and state it and state it. We can repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and never believe it. And it doesn't come true. Why? What is it about belief that matters so much? Well, belief is when we accept. We choose that thing either to explore to make true, or we go, and that is my truth. Okay. So that's when we take the thought and we affirm it as true. That's belief. The reason why that matters is because belief is what generates emotions. What you believe will generate your emotion. So if you are up at 3:00 in the morning and you cannot get to sleep and you don't know why you can't get to sleep and you start thinking there must be something wrong. If you believe that there's something wrong, then your brain is going to try to figure out what is it. And then you start going, this bad thing's going to happen and that bad thing's going to happen and everything's going to go wrong. And then my family's going to be in jeopardy and I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that. And it's all because you believed, you grabbed the belief that something is wrong. Okay, what about the belief that something is going to go well? So You're in a situation, you're not quite sure how to behave or whatever, but there are people there that love you. You believe that they love you. You believe that they're going to support you and help you. And even though it's a new situation, you believe it's going to go well. And what happens? Your heart believes and it goes well. Belief generates the emotions of fear, worry, anger. And it also generates the emotions of hope and love and possibility. Now, here's where we get really wonky. This is the pain. We're going to go there for a minute. When you have a belief that someone is going to show up for you and they don't, the emotion that comes is pain, is sorrow, and the result is distrust or disbelief. Now, a lot of times we shove emotions down. So many times we go, I'm not going to feel, it's not appropriate for me to feel. I shouldn't be worrying about this person. I should be trusting them because they're so-and-so. And so because they're so-and-so, trust is what should be, right? So what happens is we shove down those emotions. We try to make ourselves believe something, and it's not congruent with what we feel. So it's a problem. Let me tell you what your emotions do, guys. Your emotions are the signal. Your emotions that come up, if you're feeling a little off, just check in. Is this a warning of something that's, is this a worry that really should not be? You check in with God. And you say, God, I'm feeling something. What is this about? What do I need to know? He'll tell you. He will totally tell you. Now, here's what I have come to understand about belief. The war that we are experiencing between good and evil, right, wrong, God, Satan, choices, outcomes, all comes down to belief. We have thoughts that say you are safe, you are loved. This is a really good place to be. Come and listen to Ann talk. If you believe this is valuable, you're going to be here. If you believe that walking on a treadmill or doing some exercise while we do this, it can be beneficial to your body and your mind, you're going to do it. That's belief. Belief comes from thought. So I'm going to say this. We've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I want you to really hear me. There's only one God. I believe that He is intimately invested in my good, in my safety, in my potential, in my progress. He is intimately invested in my purpose and mission on the earth. He is intimately invested in bringing the things to me that I need the most. He loves me. I have that belief. I also believe there's opposition in all things. There must be. Part of that is because I have freedom of choice. And I can't choose if there's not an opposite. I never run out of choices. I always have enough choices. So, opposite is there's only one enemy, you all. There's only one enemy. Now, that enemy is ultimately invested in your misery, in controlling you, in distorting. Really, really, really. The enemy is interested, very interested in blocking any communication from the God who loves you. That's really a big deal. Anything that the enemy can do to block you from love, block you from support, block you from the belief that everything is possible, that's it. That's the goal. Blocking you from God's voice. Huh. So he gets you to believe things about God, right? Gets you to believe that he doesn't show up. Gets you to believe that he doesn't care. He speaks thoughts into our head that get you to believe things about you. So I want you to go for just a minute and think. What do you believe in relationship to God? Not about God, right? Because there's an about thing, but the relationship between you and God, what do you believe? Now, if it's not how you want, do you believe that He's disappointed? Do you believe that you are not perfect enough? Do you believe that you're undeserving? Let's talk for a second real quickly about where those beliefs come from. Your ultimate authority figure from childhood is your parent, and you were supposed to believe them. And interesting that God calls himself our Father, right? And that we have heavenly parents means we have a heavenly mother. And our understanding of that caretaking and all of that is coming from our parents. So, what do you believe about you in relationship to God? And what do you believe about God in relationship to you? Does it mimic what you believe your parents believe about you and what you believe about your parents? That's what happened to me. I was raised by a narcissist. And so everything was always about him, and my behavior reflected on whether or not I was doing things according to what he wanted and whether or not he was emotionally okay. So my dad was not a like controlling, angry, lying, cheating kind of narcissist. He was a covert narcissist, which means it was all about him, but it was all about me supporting his emotional needs. Why? Because he was emotionally lonely. Why? Because his parents had taught him not to be aware of emotion. And I filled my emotional loneliness for years by being approved of by him as I took care of his emotional needs. I was responsible for his emotional stability. If I did it wrong, he wasn't okay. If I did it wrong, I disappointed him. If I didn't do it perfectly, it hurt him. I translated that relationship into my belief about how I showed up for God. I didn't do it enough. People around me weren't okay. And it was because I wasn't faithful enough. That's what I believed. Now, that wasn't the religious affiliation that I was with. They did tell me, that my example could bring people into an understanding about God. So I tried to be perfect in the example and therefore bring my dad back into the fold. And so there's that. But I see a lot of people believing that church and the leaders of the doctrine and the things within those organizations are oppressive. And that they're limiting your choice and that you must be perfect. There are people within the church who do shame, and they motivate by shame. It's a generational thing. My kids, they're not doing shame anymore. I totally was manipulated by shame. I believed that I was shameful, that I needed to be ashamed of myself and therefore correct my behavior. Our kids, they're going, nope, we're not doing shame. We're not. We're choosing our life. And they're going to choose according to their belief. If their belief is that shame is wrong and that they don't want to be shamed into their behavior anymore, they're going to leave those things which shame them. It's a fascinating phenomenon that's happening in our generation's 30s down to 20s, sometimes into our teens, that generation of kids, they're going, nope, not shame. I believe that that's because they're so full of light that they can't do shame. That's what I believe. Okay. So what I would love for you to do is now think about, what do you believe about yourself? I know somebody who believes that their sister was more favored. I also know that the sister did not know that she was favored. The belief was, for the one sister, I'm not lovable. I'm not loved. I'm not favored. I'm not as perfect. The other sister believed that she could do anything. She just needed to believe enough in herself and in other things. That belief changed and shaped the personalities, the actions, the behaviors of those sisters. So I'm going to ask you, what do you believe about you? Do you believe you're not strong enough? That you're not believing enough? Do you believe that you are broken, that you're flawed, that you just need to heal before you can move forward? Or do you believe that where you are is exactly where you're supposed to be in your growth process? And I'm going to leave the and there. There's more to be done. There's more growth. There's more healing. See, one of the beliefs that I have is that, yeah, I got screwed up by parents. Yeah, there's some healing and correcting that needs to happen. I also have a belief that staying in my past and digging up all of the things all the time is not always helpful. I believe that looking back and going, what is it that happened? Oh, I had emotionally immature parents. Gosh, that caused a lot of stupid wounds, didn't it? Okay. Well, I'm going to learn what emotional maturity is, and I can break through. The biggest deal is that we can move forward. Curiosity is the gateway to learning, to changing our beliefs, to going, wait a minute, is this actually true? Because when we believe, we have emotions. If I feel and believe that I am not enough, look, let me get really real with you. I had a belief that I was a bad wife. I had a belief that because of my upbringing, which was pretty dysfunctional, even though I had overcome a lot, I had a belief that because of that dysfunction, I was flawed and broken. Now, that belief was fed by my ex-husband, who believed that because of my dysfunction in my family, I was destined to be just like that. He did not believe in my growth. He did not believe in my power to overcome. At first, when we first got married, I believed in my power to understand these things and overcome. But after a lot of time, there was so much told to me about how bad of a wife I was and how I was afraid of emotional intimacy. That was true. But the other belief was, and I won't change. That was not true. But I believed it. Because I believed it, I felt broken. I felt flawed. I felt completely inadequate. I felt confused, bewildered. I hid my behavior, was hiding, was fawning. And that was just trying to make it all better. No matter what is being said, I can figure this out. So I'm gonna whatever you want. I fawned because I believed that I didn't know and couldn't be a good wife. What I really believed is that somebody else defined me. That was the core. See, my dad had defined me, right? My ex-husband was defining me. Let me tell you what happened. I believed it enough that when my friend was in trouble and was living with me and her 5 children, I believed as she flirted with my husband, ready for this, that I could learn something from her to make him happy. So I watched and I tried to learn what flirting was. Guys, I believed I was broken, flawed, and was not enough. Okay, let's flip this belief around. My new husband, 15 years we've been married, I believe I'm the best dang thing that ever happened to that man. I believe he is the best thing that ever happened to me. I believe that I am safe to have conversation. That's out of like experiences, right? I believe that my voice matters. I believe that his voice matters. I believe that my role is not a superwoman with a torn and tattered cape to rescue and hero and make everybody better. I believe I am a queen. I believe I have wisdom. I believe that when he lacks wisdom, it doesn't mean that I'm not wise. I believe that when he forgets that I'm a queen, I'm still a queen. I believe that I have the power to speak to him with truth, with clarity, and compassion. I believe that. Is my relationship different? I also believe that no one has the right to come in and flirt with my husband. And I'll tell you what, anybody comes in and flirts with my husband, I am all over that and I will kick you out. Why? Because I believe that I am valuable. I believe. We worked on declarations. Declarations is taking what we desire most, what I would love, taking that desire and listening to the beliefs. Yeah, but you can't have this because. Yeah, but you can't go outside and go walking because it's too cold. I'm feeling actually really great today. It's cold, but I've got so many layers on, I'm good. Yeah, but I take the yeah, but and I create a new thought. And when I create the new thought, it feels good. Ready? My thought about walking, I give myself permission to be consistent with my exercise all through the winter. I choose to be consistent with my exercise all through. I enjoy being consistent. And then now I'm to the point where I am consistent. That lands in my being is true. I feel excited to get up in the morning. I feel excited to go walking. My behavior is I'm right here. We have power over our thoughts. We can choose to think something different. I can choose to think I'm a queen. No one ever has to treat me as a queen for me to know in my heart, in my body that I am. Let me tell you what happens. When you choose something for yourself and you adopt it as true, your feelings change. When your feelings change, the vibration of those feelings vibrate out and people pick up on it and they start treating you as though that is truth. It's not waiting for somebody else to treat you like a queen. It's not waiting for somebody else, gentlemen, to be respected. It is. I am a king who deserves to be respected. See, my belief, at the core of my belief, guys, I believe I'm having enough curiosity to learn. I also have a core belief that I get to act in my life, not be acted upon as a victim. I get to look at anything that's happening that doesn't feel good in my body and look and say, what belief do I have that is creating this emotion? I have a belief that it is important for me to look at every emotion without judgment, but with curiosity. Why am I feeling shy right now? Why am I so angry? Why am I irritated? Why do I feel disappointed? See that curiosity? Because those emotions are going to lead me to the thought that leads me to belief. Now, we talked about opposites, God and Satan. Guys, the whole war is about belief. Not just belief that God is God and Satan is Satan. Not belief in good and bad. Not belief in sin and righteousness. Belief in you. That big bully had my radio and he told me through the voice of my husband I wasn't good enough. It wasn't my husband. He's a prisoner of war. This is about the bully not wanting me to believe in my power. It all comes down to that. What is the belief that is trying to get into me and adopt it as true? Does it serve me? Does it lead me to be able to hear the voice of God? If I believe I am not righteous, that is no. If I believe that I am righteous and unrighteous all throughout the day. Why? Because the definition of righteousness is aligning with and acting in accordance with divine law. Guys, sometimes I'm acting in accordance with divine law, and sometimes I am not. So righteousness is fluid. Sometimes I act according to divine law more than others, or I stand in more righteousness. So what is my belief? My belief is God loves me. Is that what Satan would love? No, I haven't been perfect enough to deserve his love. It's all about what you believe. So I am putting forth a program called Igniting Your Belief. I would love you to join me. Where do you have holes in your belief? Is there a hole in your belief about God? Is there a hole about your belief about you? Is there a hole in your belief about relationships and your ability to have healthy relationships? Is there a hole in your ability to dream or your ability to have the life that you would love? Is there a hole in your deserving to believe or to have a good life? Where's your hole? I would love to help you. I have a belief that I have a purpose on this earth. I have a belief that I was saved from breast cancer to do what I'm doing right now. I believe that those people who come into my space are coming in for a reason and that God has something for them through the small group coaching programs that I have. So I invite you to get curious. Message me. Find out about it. Find out if it's something for you, if it's a good fit or not. For some of you, it's not a good fit yet. That's okay. But I want you to be aware that the things that you struggle with belief, not about me teaching you my belief. It's about you finding the places of belief that serve you for your best and highest good and for the good of the relationships that you exist in. So I would love to invite you to join that. That's it. If there is a subject that you would love me to talk about, will you please message me and say, Anne, what about repentance? What about forgiveness? What do I do with a teen that is just struggling and won't let me near? Like anything at all. Not tithing. Like any struggle that you have, let's talk. Give me some stuff. Tell me what you would love. All right. What about adult children? That's a concept, right? Anything you want. Okay. I love you, and I will see you on Monday.